It is a restaurant, so when we actually received this very project, the first question coming to our mind is, does a Thai restaurant need an elephant? And does a Chinese restaurant really need a dragon in order to present what it is? So our answer is no. So what we actually want to present this very space is, we want the customers that are visiting this restaurant to have the mind to enjoy the food. So we want this space like you are going to a theater. When you go into a theater, before the show starts, the lights dim out. You calm yourself, you relax yourself, to prepare yourself for the food and have the sensations about the tone and everything. So this is how we started with it. So there are some important factors that we need to design and integrate into the atmosphere of the interior. First is harmony. You need to have a harmony, you need to have the calm minds in order to get it there. So this is like the space, interior space we have. Okay. And then the next, contrast. Because we are breaking the traditional ideas that the Thai restaurant doesn't need an elephant, and we are designing MARU as a Japanese restaurant. So this very Japanese restaurant will bring a lot of contrast to break the traditional ideas. So like this, it includes the lights, includes the materials, includes the space and temperature that I will explain later further. Intimacy, because as a Japanese restaurant, the chef actually has a lot of interactions with the customers together. So we need this space to allow the chef and the customers have interactions. So the intimacy is as well as strong factors that we need to integrate in this. Next, experience. Of course, we want the customer to have the whole experience into it. So let me start explaining from the front door. If you go to a Japanese restaurant, normally at the front door, it's actually the very heavy wooden door and completely covered. Maybe you have no idea what's inside. You really need to open the door in order to see what's going on inside this very restaurant. However, in this very Japanese restaurant, we break through the door completely using the whole glass. You bring the daylight in as well as the night lights in as well. So the left hand side and the right hand side, these are both front door. So you can see where the sofa is. They have the display table. So when there's less customers, it's actually used as a display table. When we have more people booking, this very table can actually be moved up. So the irregular shape is actually a sofa seat. So it's automatic table that you can move it up, and there's a function for extra seatings again. Like this is actually the same table. So this very table can be moving. So you can use the front space as a sofa seat, but with different functions too. Okay, and then this is the hallway. So at the complete wall in the left hand side, we use granite. It's original materials that very heavy granite, but because it's too heavy, so we actually design irregular 3D sculptural shapes to it. There's two good things from that, because it's irregular sculptural shape, so the light gets reflection. So you can reflect in the light, and people can feel the wood, feel the stone as the original textures to it too. And here, this is the natural reflection from the light. So at the left hand side, you have the daylight in, you see the color, and when you go more into, you have it darker. So that's what we mean. It's like you are going to the stage, preparing you to experience the food idea, like the dim lights out as well. Okay. And this is the other side from the granite wall. So granite is a very rough material. However, at the customers' dining tables is marble, so it's actually very smoothly. It's like one contrast. And then behind this, you see the completely wooden wall, right? They are all cabinets behind it. So the chef will stand behind the counter to do the restaurant's activities, and at the back of the complete wooden wall, there are the cabinets and with all the chef materials, whatever they need to cook with. Okay, so again, this is another contrast. Marble wall is very cold, and then the wooden wall is actually very warm. So this is a contrast ideas we like customers to feel it as well as the interior. But as well, it's not too strong that distract yourself from the food itself. Okay, so this is a night view. So from the night view, when you walk out on the street, this is right inside this restaurant is right inside the Taipei city. It's a very, very busy cities. But when you walk through, you see like, okay, this is like your home. You actually have a home, open kitchens, you have the chef there, you can be really relaxing eating the food with your friends. And this is what we want to bring the customers as an intimacy, okay? And so as well, we put some plants into there to have more like comfortable mood into it as well. And this is another view. This is what I mean. This is the front table that you actually use as a display. When you have more bookings, it will raise as the functional tables and extra seatings. So here, another side forward. This, as you can see, the main chef areas, we have the high chair tables. Because this very restaurant is right inside the cities. Most of the time, majority of times, we actually have few customers visiting this restaurant. Maybe one, maybe two, maximum three. So we want each customer to go there and can have the higher table sittings, really relaxing and relax your arms on the table to enjoy the food as well. Okay. So like this, there's another angle to it, the rough and the smoothness to the materials again. Okay, here is it. This is all the way you look from the middle and look at inside, because inside you have another private space. Sorry, here I want to say, normally when you go to a restaurant, you may have a piece of paper and put where you put all your dishes. It's like in the segment of your food area. But for this very restaurant, we don't want that. We want to break the boundary because maybe we have two friends, maybe we have one person, maybe we have three. So we don't want to have a strong lines to it. What we want to is to create the stage feelings. So each seat actually has its own spotlight. So spotlight is actually shining on the food itself that's being presented to you. So it's like you are watching the food, having the presentation, and you can eat the food as well. This is the stage feeling we want to give. Again, we want to break the ideas that Japanese restaurants need to have a lot of Japanese materials. We want this place actually really allow the customers to enjoy the food itself. And that's what we bring the food when food becomes the stage. Even though it's a very small area, so left-hand side is the entrance, it's a flexible function area that I talk about, and you have the high table chairs. And inside, we have another private sectors to it. So you get these views, and the inside is about 10 people. So if today you are having a meeting for the group of people, so the inside can actually go with inside table areas. You can still have it as well. Okay, and what we design with the customer coming to here is we are not always having a huge crowd. But if a crowd is coming, they may be actually the business people. They need to be there to have the business meetings and maybe need to sign a contract as well. So the very inside areas is completely soundproof. So you will not hear if anybody is actually discussing their secrets, signing important contracts. You really have a private space for it. Okay. There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you.
ไวมาก
Thank you very much. That was great. It was very useful to see the plan at the end to understand. I saw it now. It's great. It helped me understand the spaces relative to each other. On a number of your slides, you had the golden section. What's the relationship with the golden section to this project?
เล็กมากอะ
In total, there are 13. So at the front side, the front side is about 7. In the middle is about 12, and at the end you have another 10.
Oh, sorry, no. What I meant was you use as a motif in your presentation the golden section, which is the.
Oh, this company. Okay.
And I was interested in how that relates to this project, rather than just being an overlay. Was there something? Was that a derivative, stimulating formula for you to create the architecture and interiors you did?
We actually, because this is a famous golden ratio, so we want this place to be harmony. So when we are doing the designs, we are using these very portions. to design different kind of angles for us to look at it. So that's why you will see these ideas and also the light ideas to it as well. And yeah.
I mean, could you demonstrate a little bit more? I understand when you lay it over, it's very convenient that the golden section makes composition. I mean, photographers, when they take photographs, typically work to golden section whether they know it or not because it's aesthetically correct. But was it used as a tool when you were designing, making the facets or the proportions of some of the spaces? Was it a creative tool for you?
We don't have specific posters to tell you, but then when he's doing this very designs, he has this idea in mind already. So this angle is actually designed by him as well. Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about how the wall was developed? Are there kind of what was it kind of developed to simulate, and how was the process behind doing the different angles? Is there kind of a rationale as to how you did the angles and?
You mean this very wall?
Yeah,
this very wall.
feature wall. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's a Japanese restaurant, so we're actually thinking that this granite represent like the river. You have all the stone, rough stones to it. So this is the first come with the materials that we choose for this very one. And then this wall is actually the first is a layer is wood. Wood. So you have the wood and to make define the structures to it, and then paste the stones around it.
So the stone is pasted over the wood.
Yes.
Stone is a wallpaper?
No, it's real granite.
I think it's slate, right? Isn't it slate? The stone? It looks like it's a sheet form material that comes in any size you want because it has no limits, right?
They are real stones, so we actually designed the very shape and the angles. So we asked the workers really to cut the lines to it.
And it's mounted on plywood? Okay, so I mean, I find very, very interesting this idea of the first half having the natural illumination and all the stone faceting toward the front, and the second half, you know, being in darkness with a vertical division, and that being where the chef stands, so the chef is sort of somewhere between the darkness and the light. And I can see for such a narrow space, it would have been very difficult to squeeze in so many things. So I commend you on that. But like the two previous restaurants that we saw, it looks extremely tight. It almost makes you wonder if there are any laws setting minimum standards for space. In fact, behind one of the chairs right there where the column is, I feel the space is maybe this big, 400, 450. Very tiny. If you see the plan, you can see it.
Behind the chairs, you actually have 120 centimeters. So it's not that tiny.
Can we see the plan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at the column that has the row of chairs, the space from the column to the chair is less than the chair. So I don't think it's 120.
Because the seating, it's not really like this. So when you sit, you actually pull yourself in.
Okay.
So when you pull yourself in with the tables, behind you, you do have 120 centimeters. But it's a long shape, so...
And the number of staff that work here is 2 people? Or
4.
4 people, I see. Okay. Anyway, it's interesting that these very tiny, you've seen the previous two, these extremely tiny spaces for tiny, tiny rabbits. Right?
Cities.
Development. Yeah, very big cities.
Automated space.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's very beautiful details. Very beautiful.
Thank you very much.